Right there, buddy. Aye. Decided to come down a different lane today off-road. I think this road is a little bit more technical than the roads I've been on so far with the 790. And I just want to see how it performs. Oh, right, buddy. Lovely deer. Smooth. Cool. I sometimes feel on this bike that I'm being a little bit more cautious than I need to be, because it's actually quite forgiving. But it's still, you know, a fairly heavy bike. It still has, you know, not super serious tires, but so far, apart from when they're really muddy and whoa, this is quite stony. Unless they're very muddy and wet, the tires, the Scorpions, the stock Scorpion SCRs, actually perform really well. I haven't really noticed them struggle for the most part. We can actually hash this. But I'm just nervous of these bigger stone areas. Right. Nice. Squirt. I was actually thinking about this bike yesterday, watching a channel of oh, what's his name? MX Rider, is it? MX Offroad? Sorry mate, I'll probably correct it afterwards. Something you really enjoy. He's a off-road rider, MX rider, sort of self-declared amateur. He's pretty good actually. I think he's improved a lot over the years. Used to pride himself on kind of city crashes and stuff, but he doesn't actually crash that often anymore, for better or worse. But he was commenting that he has an 890 adventure, so he's doing some video sort of breakaways, different to his norm. Just gonna let that bitch like a numpty. Get out of this. And he was just commenting that he was just commenting that he was going to sell the 890, or he thinks he's going to sell, because it's just, you know, not as good off-road as having a dedicated enduro bike. You know, it's kind of just a bike that costs a lot, kind of sitting in the garage. You know, he wants to go out in it maybe, but ultimately he'll choose a different thing to do. And I think it kind of struck to me, it struck me as a bit of second bike dilemma. You know, if you're to have two bikes, it is quite expensive. You know, it's not just your 10k to start or whatever it might be, or 20k up. By the time you've got two bikes in the stable, if not more. Ah, car down here, interesting. And also, if you're a decent with an enduro bike, you know, these bikes, as capable as they are never going to be as capable as an enduro. So, you know, you may not gain the same confidence. He did seem, for me, just watching him on YouTube, he did seem like to lack confidence, and he seemed a little bit, maybe not scared, but definitely a little bit trepidatious on the big bike off-road. And I think maybe that was kind of psyching him out a little bit. And if you start getting psyched out, I think you know, you don't enjoy these things half as much. I mean, I just made a mistake of going into a big trench just now, but it didn't worry me. I mean, I didn't even notice the weight of the bike because you know, it's fairly easy to keep this one as long as you keep it on a relatively straight line. It's as stable as you like, and obviously, there's a little bit of experience kind of allowing me to do that. But not that much experience. I mean, I'm kind of alright, just about. I sometimes watch these guys, you know, going flat out. Whoa, nice. Going flat out on these bikes, which I think in theory is safer because you know, you've got your sort of forces going in the right direction that kind of carries through and kind of keeps the bike upright. The bike wants to be upright if it's got the right force going towards it. Physics, physics, physics. But as soon as you start getting a little bit nervous, as soon as you start making a few mistakes like I've done so far, going absolutely flat out on this bike, you veer away from it rather than veering towards it. Quite a lot of cars down here. I don't know if I'd fancy taking my car down here. It's not that bad, but it's definitely a bit of a slog. Obviously walkers. So the original question about whether you should buy an adventure bike or the 790 adventure bike, because I think with the 790 is kind of targeted as a beginner middleweight, and I think if you're not going to go off-road, I would definitely potentially think twice. Not because it's bad on-road, it's actually a very good on-road bike, but it's just that there's probably better for that specific purpose, better touring bikes, better road bikes. And I think that, you know, matters. You probably save money doing it that way. You'll probably have something that's more comfortable specifically for those purposes. The 790 does have cruise control. It does have the touring screen. You know, it is um, aimed towards a road market somewhat. But I think you are missing something if you're not going to do something like this. Not that you should. Obviously, that's your choice, whether you want to do a little bit of off-road now and then. But again, if you're not, there are probably maybe better options. But I think that, you know, for me, this bike instills a lot of confidence. You know, I'm an average rider at best, and these lanes are, you know, not difficult, but definitely challenging if you're not comfortable on road. It invites a lot of confidence there. I don't feel like if I nip down a road like this, that I'm going to get into problems or difficulties or find myself stuck in any way. I mean, I'm sure there are probably some exceptions to that, but overall, so far, I've been able to, you know, turn it or push it in some cases back out of things. You know, it doesn't slip around too much overall. And I think that even in comparison to smaller bikes, probably this bike is more confidence inspiring because of the kind of weight distribution and electronics being quite clever for off-road and things like that. I'm about to come up to a section here where, you know, it's fairly inclined and the road is fairly uneven, and the off-road ABS does not ABS, the off-road traction control actually does a really good job. I'm using a little bit of clutch as well, but overall it does a really good job of kind of modulating power. You know, you can feel it easing off. On my previous bike, the KTM 390 Adventure, I found that sometimes you would have to switch the traction control off because it was just cutting all power when things would get really kind of gravelly and uneven. With this one, it cuts just enough. It's just like just enough. It's saying here's the section where it's saying here's what you need to be able to go up this slope or inclination, and it doesn't cut in and out. It's very smooth. It doesn't cause you to, you know, the system itself doesn't cause you to lose traction because of the corrections it's making. It's very clever, very intuitive. But again, you're not going to be using it if you don't go off road. And again, this is kind of what this bike is designed for. So you think that
it's best to, if you're considering it, it's best to maybe try to get some kind of off-road experience first. Either go on, I know in Wales they do the KTM experience days, for example. Something like that would probably be really good of getting a specific exposure to a bike like this and seeing whether you want to ultimately have that experience. Right, jumping to road section to have a listen to the KTM. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.